The cold sleep chamber hissed as it opened. Commander blinked his eyes against the bright lights. His body felt heavy and slow. How long had he been sleeping? The last thing he remembered was entering the chamber on Earth, saying goodbye to a world that was dying. "Commander, you're awake." A woman's voice came through the speakers. It was Bo, the chief engineer. She sounded worried. Sat up slowly, his muscles ached. "How long, Bo? How long were we asleep?" There was a pause. "Sir, you need to see this yourself. Come to the bridge." Pulled himself out of the chamber and walked through the empty corridors of the ship. The Eternal Wanderer was one of 12 colony ships that left Earth 50,000 years ago. Humans had to leave. The sun was dying. The planet was getting too hot. So they built 12 great ships and sent them to find new homes among the stars. Each ship carried 10,000 people in cold sleep. They were supposed to wake up at a new world, ready to start again. But something had gone wrong. When reached the bridge, he found Bo and waiting for him was the tactical officer, a serious man who rarely smiled. Both of them looked at the view screen with strange expressions. "Show me," said. Bo pressed a button. The screen lit up with a view of space, but this wasn't the space remembered. There were structures out there. Huge stations floating between the stars, ships moving in organized patterns, lights everywhere. "This isn't our destination," said quietly. "No, sir," replied. "The navigation system failed. We drifted for a very long time. When the ship's automatic systems finally woke us, we were here." "Here? Where is here?" Bo pulled up a star map. "We're somewhere in the outer rim of the galaxy, far from Earth, far from where we were supposed to go. And sir, there's more. We're picking up signals, radio waves, energy signatures. There's a civilization out here." Stared at the screen. Humans had been alone in the universe when they left Earth. They had searched for decades and found nothing. No aliens, no other intelligent life, just empty planets and silent stars. "Are you sure?" he asked. "Very sure," Bo said. "We've been monitoring their communications. There are dozens of different species out here. They call themselves the Galactic Council. They've been here for thousands of years." Felt his heart race. Other life after all this time. Have they seen us? "No," said. "We're still in stealth mode. The ship systems are old, but they work. To them, we're just another piece of space debris." "Good, keep it that way until we know more. What else have you learned?" Bo brought up more data on the screen. "There's a war happening. A species called the Empire is attacking the Council. They've been winning. The Council is retreating. There's going to be a big battle soon at something called the Threshold Gate." "A gate?" "A space station, very large. It controls access to the inner systems where most Council species live. If they take it, the war is basically over." Studied the information. His training as a military commander came back to him even after 50,000 years of sleep. He could see the tactical situation clearly. The Council was in trouble. "Wake the others," he said. "All senior officers, we need to decide what to do." Over the next few hours, more crew members woke from cold sleep. Ryu, the general who commanded the ship's small military force. Young, the science officer who was the person had ever met. And Na, the best pilots humanity had ever trained. The medical officer, Jin, who handled communications. They all gathered in the meeting room, explained the situation. "So we have a choice," he said. "We can try to slip away quietly and find a planet to settle, or we can make contact with these aliens." "There's a third option," Ryu said. His voice was hard. "We can help them fight." "Help them?" Jin looked shocked. "We don't even know these people. Why should we risk our lives for them?" "Because it's the right thing to do," Ryu replied. "They are conquering and killing. If we have the power to stop that, shouldn't we try?" Young shook her head. "We have 10,000 people on this ship. Most of them are still asleep. We can't risk everyone for a war that isn't ours." "But what kind of people would we be if we just watched?" Ryu asked. The argument went back and forth, listened to all of them. Finally, he raised his hand for silence. Young is right, we can't risk everyone, but Ryu is also right. We can't just watch innocent people die. So here's what we'll do. We'll take the ship to the battle. We'll offer to help. But if it looks too dangerous, we'll retreat. The safety of our people comes first. And if we do help, said slowly, what do we tell them about who we are? That was the real question. Thought about it carefully. We tell them the truth, he said. We're humans. We come from Earth. We've been traveling for a long time and we're looking for a new home. Maybe if we help them, they'll help us. Young pulled up some data on her tablet. Sir, I've been studying their records. There are references to humans in their old files. Very old files. They think we're legends, myths, a species that existed a long time ago but died out. Legends, Bo laughed. We're legends to aliens we never even met. Apparently, Young said, their records say humans were fierce and dangerous, that we came from a world so deadly that it made us incredibly tough, but they also say we disappeared thousands of years ago. 50,000 years, corrected. That's how long we've been gone. To them, Young said, we're ghosts from the ancient past. Smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of a soldier who just realized he had an advantage. Then let's show them that ghosts can fight, he said. Set course for the threshold gate. It's time to wake up the legend. The Eternal Wanderer's engines came to life. The old ship moved through space toward the coming battle. On board, stood on the bridge and watched the stars. Somewhere out there, people were dying. A war was being lost. And humanity, the species everyone thought was extinct, was about to remind the galaxy what it meant to be human. His hand rested on the arm of his command chair. After 50,000 years of drifting through the dark, humans were coming back, and they were bringing everything that made them human: the strength, the courage, the stubborn refusal to give up. The galaxy had forgotten about them. That was about to change. The threshold gate was the largest structure had ever seen. It stretched across space like a giant wheel, spinning slowly. Thousands of ships surrounded it. Most of them were damaged. Some were burning. The battle had already been going on for days. Give me a tactical overview, ordered. Worked his controls. Numbers and images appeared on the main screen. The Council has about 3,000 ships. They have 9,000. Council forces are trying to defend the gate, but they're losing. Their line is breaking in 4 places. How long until the gate falls? 6 hours, maybe 8 if they're lucky. Studied the battle carefully. The Council ships were trying their best, but they were outmatched. They had more ships, better weapons, and fresher crews. It was only a matter of time. There, Young said, pointing at the screen. See that? They are using a standard encirclement pattern. They're trying to surround the Council fleet and cut them off from the gate. Is there a weakness? Asked. Young zoomed in on part of the battle. Maybe. They're stretching their formation thin to cover more space. If someone hit them hard in the right spot, the whole formation might collapse. Ryu leaned forward. We have to help them. 1 ship against 9,000, Jin said. That's suicide. We're not just any ship, Ryu replied. We're human. Our weapons, our technology, it's all from before they even had space flight. To them, our ship is ancient, but ancient doesn't mean weak. Bo nodded. He's right. I've been comparing our systems to theirs. Our ship was built to survive a journey across the galaxy. We have shields that can take incredible punishment. Our weapons use principles they abandoned thousands of years ago because they thought they were too dangerous. Dangerous how? Asked. Our missiles don't just explode. They use a matter disruption warhead. 1 missile could destroy 3 of their ships. We have 40 missiles. Whistled softly, and our fighters. And those fighters use human reflexes and human piloting, Bo said. No AI assistance. No computer controls, pure manual flight. These aliens have been using computers for so long, they've forgotten how to really fly. Made his decision. Prepare for battle, but first we contact them. Jin, open a channel to the Council flagship. Jin worked his station. Channel open, sir. This is Commander of the Earth ship Eternal Wanderer. We're here to help. Please respond. For a moment there was only static. Then a voice came through. It was deep and rough, not quite human. The ship's computer translated the words. Earth ship, this is Fleet Commander of the Navy. Your signal is being received from deep space. Identify yourself properly. This channel is for Council forces only. I am properly identified, said calmly. We are human from Earth. We've been traveling for a long time and we've just arrived. We can see you're in trouble. We want to help. Another pause, longer this time. Human, the voice sounded confused. Impossible, humans are extinct. They've been gone for thousands of cycles. This is a trick. It's not a trick, said. We're real. Send us tactical data and we'll prove it. We can help you win this battle. I don't have time for games, snapped. We're fighting for our lives here. If you're really who you say you are, then show yourself. Drop your stealth and transmit your identity codes. Looked at his crew. They all nodded. It was time. Bo, drop stealth. Let them see us. Bo pressed a button. The ship's camouflage field shut down. Suddenly, the Eternal Wanderer appeared on every sensor in the battle zone. The reaction was immediate. Ships stopped firing. Formations broke apart. For a moment, the entire battle seemed to pause. By the ancestors, his voice was barely a whisper. The design, the energy signature, it matches the old records. You really are human. Yes, said. And we're here to fight. Send us your tactical data. We can hit the where they're weak. Wait, another voice broke in. It was high-pitched and clicking. This is Ambassador Hay of the Council Science Division. We need to verify this. Humans haven't been seen in over 40,000 years. We need proof. Young leaned over shoulder. Send them our genetic profiles. That should prove it. Nodded to Jin. Send it. A few seconds passed. Then Ambassador Hay spoke again. The clicking voice sounded amazed. It's true. The DNA matches the ancient samples. You're actually human. This is incredible. This is impossible. This is a battle we're losing, interrupted. Ambassador, save the science for later. Humans, if you really want to help, now is the time. Stood up from his chair. Send us your tactical data. We'll coordinate with your forces. Received, said as data flooded into their systems. I'm seeing their fleet positions, their weapon strengths, their damage reports. It's worse than we thought. They're almost broken. On the view screen could see a smaller ship flying through the chaos. It was fast and desperate, dodging enemy fire while trying to cover a damaged cruiser. The pilot was good, very good. Who's that? Asked. According to the data, that son, replied. His daughter. She's leading the fighter screen. She's been fighting for 30 hours straight. 30 hours. Most humans would be exhausted by then, but looking at Sun's flying could see she was starting to make mistakes. Small ones. But in battle, small mistakes became fatal very quickly. Get to your fighters, ordered. Launch and support Sun Squadron. Show them how humans fly. Yes, sir. Both pilots ran from the bridge. Ryu, prepare boarding teams. If we get close to a ship, I want us ready to take it. Already on it, Ryu said with a grim smile. Bo, push the engines to maximum. Target that weak point young found. We're going in. The Eternal Wanderer accelerated. The old ship groaned and shook, but it moved forward faster and faster. Ahead of them, the fleet was still advancing, confident in their victory. They're scanning us, reported. They are trying to figure out what we are. Let them wonder, said. Fire when ready. His fingers moved across his controls. Missiles away. 40 missiles launched from the Eternal Wanderer. They streaked through space like falling stars. The ships tried to shoot them down, but the missiles were too fast, too small, too unpredictable. The first missile hit a destroyer. The matter disruption warhead activated. The ship simply came apart, its atoms scattering into space. The second missile did the same, then the third, then the fourth. In 30 seconds, 40 ships were gone. The battle froze again. Everyone was staring at the human ship. By the void's voice was shocked. "What kind of weapons are those?" "Human weapons," replied. "We told you we could help. Now we're going to break their formation. Order your ships to follow us in." "You're insane. You'll be destroyed." Maybe said, "But we're human. We don't know how to quit. All ships we're making our attack run for Earth, for humanity, for everyone who needs our help." The Eternal Wanderer dove into the heart of the fleet. Laser fire filled the space around them. Missiles exploded against their shields. The ship rocked and shuddered, but Bo kept the engines running and the shields strong. Behind them, inspired by the humans' courage, the Council fleet reformed their lines and pushed forward. The real battle was about to begin. Felt the fighter cockpit close around him like a second skin. It had been 50,000 years since he last flew, but his hands remembered the controls. Beside him, in her own fighter, Nuh was already running through her pre-flight checks. "Systems green," Nuh said over the radio. "Ready to launch." "Launch bay opening," the launch officer said. "You're clear to go." Pushed the throttle forward. His fighter shot out of the Eternal Wanderer like a bullet. Nuh followed half a second behind him. They burst into the battle zone together. The space around them was chaos. Explosions everywhere, ships burning, debris floating in clouds, and through it all, fighters darted and weaved, hunting each other like birds of prey. "There," Nuh said, "that's Sun Squadron." "Saw them? 12 alien fighters trying to protect a damaged Council cruiser. They were outnumbered 5-1. As he watched, one of the Council fighters took a direct hit and exploded. "Let's even the odds," said. "Follow my lead." He dove toward the enemy fighters. His targeting computer locked on, but didn't trust computers. He aimed by instinct, by feel, by the 1,000 hours of training that were burned into his muscles and bones. He fired. The fighter ahead of him exploded. Nuh came in from the side, her guns blazing. 2 more fighters died. Sun's voice came over the radio. She sounded tired but surprised. "Unknown fighters, identify yourselves. You're not Council design." "I'm human. We're here to help." "Human?" Sun's fighter wobbled for a moment as if she'd been distracted. "But that's impossible. Humans are." "We know what you think," Nuh interrupted. "But we're real and we're on your side. Now focus. You've got 3 enemies coming in from above." Sun pulled her fighter into a hard turn. "I see them. Thanks for the warning." "Don't thank us yet," said. "Just try to keep up." He pushed his fighter into a spiral, dodging laser fire and launching his own attacks. The human fighters moved differently than anything else in the battle. They were faster, more aggressive, more unpredictable. Because Nuh weren't relying on computers to fly. They were using their own reflexes, their own judgment, their own instincts. And those instincts had been shaped by evolution on Earth, a planet where predators hunted and prey ran and only the fastest and survived. Humans had been hunters once, long ago. That hunter's mind was still there, buried deep in their brains. Sun watched the human fighters in amazement. She had been a pilot for 10 years. She was one of the best in the Council fleet. But these humans flew like nothing she had ever seen. They broke every rule of safe flying. They pulled maneuvers that should have killed them from the G-forces. They took risks that no sane pilot would take. And it worked. "How are they doing that?" one of her squadron asked. "I don't know," Sun admitted. "But whatever they are, I'm glad they're on our side." Meanwhile, on the Eternal Wanderer's bridge was dealing with another situation. A command ship had noticed them and was heading their way. It was massive, 10 times the size of the human ship. "Incoming transmission," Jin said. "It's from the commander." "Put it through." A face appeared on the screen. It was alien, very alien, covered in scales with 4 eyes and a mouth full of sharp teeth. This was Commander of the Empire. So, said in a hissing voice, the ancient ghosts have returned. We thought you were all dead. You thought wrong, replied calmly. Laughed, it was an ugly sound. It doesn't matter, you're just one ship, one old, ancient ship from a dead civilization. You think you can change this battle, you think you can stop the Empire. Yes, said simply. Then you're fools, your time has passed. The galaxy belongs to the strong now, and you humans were always too weak to survive. Felt anger rise in his chest, but he kept his voice steady. We survived 50,000 years crossing the galaxy. We survived when our sun died and our planet became hell. We survived when everyone said it was impossible, and we'll survive you too. His 4 eyes narrowed. Brave words. Let's see if you can back them up. All ships destroy that human vessel. I want them erased from existence. 20 warships turned toward the Eternal Wanderer. Here they come, said. Should I fire? Wait, said. Let them get closer. Sir, if we wait too long. I know, just a little longer. The ships approached, their weapons charging. On the Council flagship, watched with his command crew. They all thought the human ship was about to die. We should help them, said. We can't, his tactical officer replied. We're too far away and we're engaged with our own enemies. The humans are alone. His hands gripped his command chair. He had lived a long life and fought in many battles. He knew what courage looked like. And watching that one human ship face 20 warships without retreating, without begging for help, without showing any fear at all, that was the most courageous thing he had ever seen. Now, said. Bo cut the engines and diverted all power to the shields, fired every weapon the ship had, and Young activated a system that the Council species had forgotten about thousands of years ago. An electromagnetic pulse burst out from the Eternal Wanderer. It was a weapon so dangerous that most species had banned it. It could fry electronics, destroy computer systems, and knock out AI controls. But the human ship didn't rely on AI. Their systems were manual, physical, analog. The EMP didn't hurt them at all. The ships weren't so lucky. Their AI systems crashed. Their computers went dark. Their weapons stopped working. For a few precious seconds, they were helpless. And in those seconds, missiles found their targets. The explosions lit up the darkness of space. When the light faded, all 20 ships were gone. Stared at his screen in disbelief. Impossible. You used an EMP weapon. Nobody uses those anymore. They're too dangerous. Dangerous to you maybe, said. We humans learned a long time ago not to trust machines too much. We keep our hands on the controls. For the first time looked worried. What are you? We're human, said. We're from a planet that tried to kill us every single day. We're from a species that almost went extinct a dozen times but never gave up. We're survivors, and we don't like bullies. On the Council flagship stood up from his chair. His crew was cheering. His daughter's son was laughing with joy over the radio. And Ambassador Hay was frantically taking notes, trying to record everything the humans did. Get me a line to that human ship, ordered, now. When's face appeared on his screen, didn't hesitate. He gave a formal bow, the highest sign of respect in culture. Commander, said, I apologize for doubting you. I've been a soldier for 40 years and I've never seen anything like what you just did. Your species may be ancient legends to us, but you fight like demons. Smiled, we're not demons, we're just human, and we're just getting started. Then let's finish this battle together, said. All Council ships, this is Fleet Commander, follow the human ship. They're leading the attack now. Across the battlefield, Council ships reformed around the Eternal Wanderer. Inspired by the humans' courage and amazed by their power, the Council forces found new strength. The tide of battle was beginning to turn. The battle had been going on for 6 hours since the humans arrived. For the Council forces, 6 hours of continuous fighting was pushing them to their limits. Pilots were making mistakes from exhaustion. Gunners were slower. Ship captains were struggling to think clearly. But the humans showed no signs of stopping. Sun watched in amazement as Enna kept flying. Their movements were just as sharp as when they started. Their aim was just as precise. How were they doing it? "Human fighters," she called over the radio. "Don't you need to rest? You've been fighting nonstop." "We're fine," replied. His voice was steady and calm. "On Earth, our ancestors used to hunt animals by just following them, for days if necessary. We just keep walking until the animal collapsed from exhaustion. Humans are built for endurance." "Days?" Sun couldn't believe it. "You can fight for days." "If we have to," Na said. 6 hours is nothing." It was true. Humans had evolved as persistence hunters. They couldn't run as fast as most animals, but they could run longer, much longer. Their bodies were designed to keep going when other species would collapse. And that same endurance applied to everything, including war. On the Eternal Wanderer, Bo had been working on the engines for 6 hours straight. Her hands moved quickly, rerouting power, fixing damage, pushing the ship beyond what the designers thought was possible. "Bo, you should take a break," Young said. "You've been at this for too long." "Can't stop now," Bo replied without looking up. "The battle's not over." "At least eat something." Bo grabbed a food bar from her pocket and ate it while she worked. She didn't even slow down. Young shook her head in wonder. She had read about human determination in the old files, but seeing it in person was different. These humans didn't know how to quit. It wasn't in their nature. In the ship's armory, General Ryu was preparing his soldiers for something crazy. They were going to board a carrier. "Listen up," Ryu said to the 50 soldiers gathered around him. "That carrier has 2,000 warriors on it. We're 50 humans. The odds are 40 to 1 against us." The soldiers grinned. They liked those odds. "We're going to cut through their hull, get inside, and take their bridge. Once we control the bridge, we control the ship. Questions?" "Yes, sir," one soldier said. "What do we do if we run into heavy resistance?" "We go through it," Ryu said simply. "We're human, they're not ready for us." The soldier nodded, satisfied. Ryu looked at his team. They were all smiling. They were about to do something suicidal and they were smiling. That was the human spirit right there. The refusal to be scared. The willingness to take insane risks. The absolute certainty that they could win no matter what. "Boarding craft ready," the pilot called. "Let's go," Ryu said. The small boarding ship launched from the Eternal Wanderer and headed for the carrier. The carrier's defenses tried to shoot it down, but Enna's fighters ran interference, keeping the enemy busy. The boarding craft latched onto the carrier's hull. Ryu and his team used cutting torches to burn through the armor. Alarms blared on the ship. They knew they were being boarded. "Breach in 30 seconds, Ryu counted down. "Get ready." The hull gave way. Ryu was first through the hole, his weapon up and ready. He found himself in a corridor full of warriors. They were big, heavily armored, and carrying weapons that could tear through most armor. They weren't ready for humans. Ryu and his team moved like water, flowing around the attacks and striking back with precision. In zero gravity, humans had advantages other species didn't. They were used to moving in 3 dimensions. Their inner ears, shaped by evolution to handle Earth's complex terrain, could track position and movement better than most alien species. And they were fast, so fast. The warriors were trained and experienced, but they had never fought humans before. They didn't know about human reflexes, human aggression, human stubbornness. They didn't know that when you knocked a human down, they just got back up angrier than before. The fight moved through the carrier, corridor by corridor, room by room. They kept sending more warriors, but Ryu's team kept advancing. They didn't stop. They didn't slow down, they just kept pushing forward. "This is impossible," a commander shouted. "How are 50 soldiers defeating our entire security force?" "They're not soldiers," another replied, watching the security cameras in horror. "They're monsters from the old times, they're humans." On the Eternal Wanderer's bridge, Young was working on a different problem. They were using encrypted communications to coordinate their fleet. If she could break the encryption, the humans could hear every order the enemy gave. Most species would use a computer to crack the code. It would take hours, maybe days. Young didn't use a computer, she used her brain. She looked at the patterns, she noticed the repetitions, she saw the structure underneath the chaos. Human brains were good at finding patterns. It was how their ancestors survived, by noticing things, by making connections, by thinking in ways that computers couldn't. After 20 minutes, she had broken the code. "I'm in," Young announced. "I can hear everything the commanders are saying." Leaned forward. "What are they saying?" "They're scared," Young replied, listening to the translations. "Is ordering a retreat, but his captains are arguing with him. They can't believe they're losing to one human ship and a handful of fighters." "One human ship is all it takes," said quietly. "Relay the positions to the Council fleet. Let's use their own tactics against them." The Council ships suddenly knew exactly where every vessel was going. They knew which ships were damaged. They knew which commanders were panicking. With that information, they pressed their advantage. The formation began to collapse. On the carrier, Ryu and his team reached the bridge. The door was sealed, but Bo had taught them a trick. They placed a small explosive charge on the lock, not enough to damage the bridge but enough to blow the door open. The explosion echoed through the ship. The door fell inward. Ryu stepped through. The bridge was full of officers. They all turned to look at him. For a moment, nobody moved. Then Ryu smiled. "This ship is ours now." The captain reached for his weapon, but Ryu was faster. In 3 seconds, it was over. The bridge was secured. "General Ryu to Commander," Ryu said into his radio. "We have the carrier. What should we do with it?" Thought for a moment. "Can you fly it?" "Bo sent me the manual. It can't be that hard." "Then turn it around and use it against the fleet." "Understood." 5 minutes later, a carrier started firing on its own side. The confusion was total. The fleet didn't know what was happening. Some ships tried to shoot back at the carrier. Others tried to flee. Their formation, already damaged, fell apart completely. Watch from his flagship with his mouth open. They actually captured an enemy carrier with 50 soldiers in less than an hour. "Sir," his tactical officer said quietly, "the old records were right. Humans really are from a death world. Nothing else could explain this." "A death world," repeated. "What kind of planet makes a species like this?" Ambassador Hay answered over the command channel. She had been researching Earth in the old files. "According to the records, Earth has gravity that would crush most species, whether that shifts from deadly heat to deadly cold, predators that hunt in packs, diseases that adapt and evolve, earthquakes, volcanoes, hurricanes. The entire planet is designed to kill anything living on it." "And humans survived there," was stunned. "More than survived," Hay said. "They thrived. They became the apex predator. They conquered their whole planet. That's what we're seeing now. A species that spent millions of years learning how to survive in hell. To them, this battle is easy." Looked at the human ship on his screen. It was still fighting, still advancing, showing no signs of slowing down. And he understood. The humans weren't just strong. They were built for this. War, struggle, survival against impossible odds. It was in their bones, in their blood, in their very DNA. "All ships," said, "one final push. Follow the humans and let's finish this." The Council fleet surged forward, and at the front, leading the charge, was the Eternal Wanderer. The final moments of the battle came 42 hours after the humans arrived. 42 hours of non-stop fighting. The Council forces were exhausted. Many ships were damaged or destroyed. Thousands of soldiers had died. But the humans were still fighting. Watched his fleet fall apart around him. He couldn't understand it. How had one ancient ship changed everything? How had a species everyone thought was extinct turned his certain victory into crushing defeat? "Commander," his tactical officer said nervously, "we've lost 60% of our fleet. Our formation is broken. We can't hold the threshold gate." Skloz dug into his command chair. "Then we fall back. Order all ships to retreat. We'll regroup and attack again." "Sir, the Council ships are pursuing. If we run now, they'll destroy us." "If we stay, the humans will destroy us. I've seen what they can do. Retreat, now." The fleet began to pull back. Ships turned and fled toward the jump points. The Council forces chased them, but they were too tired, too damaged to catch all of them. But the humans weren't tired. "Nah," said, "keep the pressure on them. Don't let them reorganize." "Copy that," replied. The two human fighters dove after the fleeing ships. They didn't need to destroy them all. They just needed to keep them scared and running. Sun tried to follow, but her ship was running on empty. Her engines sputtered and died. She coasted to a stop in the middle of the debris field. "This is Sun," she called over the radio. "My ship is dead. I'm drifting." "Hold position," her father replied. "We'll send a recovery ship." But before the recovery ship could launch, one of the human fighters appeared beside her. It was Na. "I've got you," Na said. "I'm linking a tow cable. I'll pull you back to the fleet." "You don't have to do that," Sun said. "You should keep fighting." "The fight is over," Na replied. "Now we take care of our people, all our people, that includes you." Sun felt something warm in her chest. These humans barely knew her. They had no reason to help, but they were helping anyway because that's what they did. As Na towed her back toward the Council ships, Sun asked, "Why did you come back? After 50,000 years, you could have just stayed hidden. You could have avoided this whole war. Why risk your lives for people you never met?" Na was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Because we're human, and humans don't walk away from people who need help. We're not built that way." It was such a simple answer, but it explained everything. On the bridge of the Eternal Wanderer, received a transmission from. "Commander," said, "the battle is won. They are retreating. The threshold gate is secure, and it's all because of you and your crew." "We just helped," replied. "Your people did most of the fighting." "Don't be modest," said. "Without you we would have lost. We were hours from total defeat. You changed everything." Ambassador Hayes' face appeared on the screen beside. "Commander, on behalf of the Galactic Council, I would like to formally invite humanity to join us. We need people like you. The galaxy needs people like you." Looked at his crew. Bo was covered in grease and sweat, but she was smiling, was exhausted but satisfied. Young was already planning their next move. They all nodded. "We accept," said, "but you should know something. The Eternal Wanderer is just one ship. There are 11 more colony ships out there, scattered across the galaxy. Each one carries 10,000 humans. We've been searching for a home for 50,000 years. If you're offering us a place in your council, we'll bring all of them here." And Hay looked at each other. "How soon can they arrive?" asked. "We'll broadcast a recall signal," said. "It might take months or even years for them all to receive it and travel here, but they'll come. Humans always come home." 120,000 humans, Hay said quietly. "And if you're all like the people on this ship, then the galaxy is about to become a very different place." Smiled. "We're not all the same, but we're all human. We all come from Earth. We all carry that with us." "What was Earth like?" Sun asked over the radio. She had been listening to the conversation. Thought about his home world, the planet he left 50,000 years ago. Earth was beautiful and terrible. It had oceans that could swallow whole continents, mountains that reached into the sky, storms that could flatten cities, animals that could kill you in 1,000 different ways. Every single day was a fight to survive. It sounds horrible, Sun said. It was, agreed. But it was also home, and it made us what we are, strong, stubborn, unwilling to give up no matter what. Earth tried to kill us for millions of years and we're still here. Ryu's voice came over the radio from the captured carrier. Commander, we're bringing this ship back to the fleet. The crew is secured. No casualties on our side. 50 soldiers captured a carrier and took no casualties, sounded amazed. We're very good at what we do, Ryu said simply. Over the next few hours, the fleet regrouped. The council ships were battered but victorious. The human ship was damaged but still flying. Fighters returned to their carriers. Soldiers stood down from battle stations. And in the medical bay of the Eternal Wanderer was treating the wounded. She had been working for 42 hours straight, but she didn't stop until every injured person was stable. You should rest, one of the medics told her. I will, replied, after I finish here. But you've been working non-stop since the battle started. Looked at the medic. So have you. Why would I rest when there's still work to do? The medic didn't have an answer for that. A week later, the council held a formal ceremony at the threshold gate. Every ship in the fleet was there. Thousands of soldiers and officers gathered to honor those who had died and celebrate the victory. And his crew stood on the stage with Ambassador Hay and the other council leaders. The crowd below them was filled with dozens of different species. All of them were looking at the humans with wonder and respect. Today, Ambassador Hay announced, we welcome a new species to the Galactic Council, a species we thought was lost to history, a species that reminded us what courage looks like. Please welcome humanity. The crowd erupted in cheers. It was a sound that echoed through the station and out into space. Stepped forward to speak. Thank you for this honor. Humans have been alone for a very long time. 50,000 years we've been traveling through the dark looking for a place to belong. You've given us that place. And in return, we promise to stand with you, to fight beside you, to help build a better galaxy for everyone. More cheers, louder this time. But I want to say one more thing, continued. The battle we just fought was won because we worked together, humans and all the other council species. Alone, we're strong. Together, we're unstoppable. That's the real lesson here. Unity is our greatest weapon. Stepped up beside and raised his hand in a salute. The human commander returned it. 2 warriors from different worlds, different species, showing each other respect. Later that night, stood in his quarters looking out at the stars. Young found him there. Can't sleep, she asked. Too much to think about, replied. We left Earth looking for a new home. I never imagined we'd find a whole galaxy full of friends. The other colony ships will be happy when they arrive, Young said. 120,000 humans finally finding a place to belong. I wonder what they've been doing all this time, said. 50,000 years is a long time. Some of those ships might have found planets and settled. They might have built whole civilizations. Young pulled up a star map on her tablet. I've been plotting their last known trajectories. Some of them went really far, way out to the edge of the galaxy. Who knows what they became? Smiled, I guess we'll find out. The recall signal is broadcasting. They'll hear it eventually. And when they do, humanity will truly return to the stars, not as legends or myths or ghosts from the past, but as who we really are, explorers, survivors, friends to those who need us. Far away, in different parts of the galaxy, other colony ships were drifting through space. Some were still asleep. Some had already woken and settled on new worlds. Some had faced challenges and dangers couldn't even imagine. But slowly, one by one, they began to hear the recall signal, a message from home, a call to come together. And humanity, scattered across the stars for 50,000 years, began the journey home. The legend was over. The reality was just beginning.